So what's the deal with As I Lay Dying? Sorry, I've been watching Seinfeld a lot at home, and that's all I could think of a way to start this. But Chapter 3 now. This is our third video talking about the situation going on with As I Lay Dying. We're live on Twitch once again. Welcome Twitch chat. To everybody on YouTube watching later, if you'd like to join on Twitch when we talk about random stuff, you can go to twitch.tv/TankTheTech. The moment a lot of people have been waiting for. Yesterday afternoon, As I Lay Dying social media finally issued a statement about everything that's going on with all the members leaving the band and internal turmoil and all that stuff. And it's kind of a big nothing burger, to be honest. I was actually super stoked when this happened because I was like, wow, maybe we'll actually like see a little bit of accountability, or maybe like actually see Tim Lambesis dive into like what's going on. But really didn't get any of that. I skimmed it real quick. I didn't dive in, and I want to break it apart on here. And I went through some comments and stuff, and the comments were exactly what I was expecting. It was like half the people in there were like kind of pushing back on it and being like, yo, this is a bad statement. And the other half of the people were, you know, they would support Tim Lambesis if he tried to have another wife offed, but that's how people get with people with things they like. I assume everybody watching this video, because it is the third one on this topic, knows what's going on. But if you don't, very quick recap. We are talking about As I Lay Dying. Metalcore band that started in the early 2000s in the US. They are considered one of like the OG pioneering American metalcore bands. There's been a lot of stuff that's happened over the years, but currently right now, 4 out of their 5 members have left the band completely, have all announced statements saying that they're leaving and citing things like their morals being tested, their mental and physical health being in jeopardy, a lot of weird stuff, which leaves their singer, Tim Lambesis, being the only member left. And we've been waiting for Tim to issue a statement, and he finally has. So let's break this down. Posted 1 day ago, co-posted by Tim Lambesis' personal page and As I Lay Dying's page. Starts off by saying, "Hi everyone. I needed some time to process all that has happened recently with As I Lay Dying. As I reflect, I certainly agree that there was an unhealthy environment that made leaving for a new tour with the previous lineup unrealistic. It had become difficult to figure out even the smallest details, and I admit I can stick strong to my vision for the future of As I Lay Dying, even when others think it should go another direction." That's not where I thought that was gonna go when he said, I admit, like... I think a lot of people were expecting him to say something like, I admit I caused this problem, because when you have 4 band members leave a band citing internal issues and their mental state and stuff like that, and there's 1 person left, we kind of know what the issue is there. That's a weird phrasing though. He says, I certainly agree that there was an unhealthy environment that made leaving for a new tour with the previous lineup unrealistic. You agree with who? Your band members that quit? And what is the unhealthy environment? I mean, they all left. It's gotta be Tim. I don't know. This whole thing seems like it's gonna be a giant gaslighting thing in a second, but let's continue. It saddens me to think about the behaviors, communication, and patterns of interaction that led up to the tour cancellation. Phil and I no longer saw eye to personally... What? I think that's supposed to say eye to eye. Phil and I no longer saw eye to personally, creatively, or financially. Ooh. Discussions during this time prompted his decision to depart first, with each of the touring members deciding to leave shortly after. Okay, so there's our answer right there that we speculated on. Phil is definitely a band member and probably owns part of this business, and he referred to the other 3, being Ken, Nick, and Ryan, as touring members. They are hired guns. That is confirmed. The touring members decided to leave shortly after, as they were not interested in going on without him, Phil. Unfortunately, that wasn't the order in which everything was made public, as some statements were rushed out during a chaotic time in response to rumors. So according to Tim, Phil actually officially quit the band before Ryan, Ken, and Nick, who announced their departures on social media over a week ago, but Phil didn't announce his until now, or a few days ago, and theirs were rushed in response to rumors. What rumors? The only rumor that we heard of was people online started saying Tim was allegedly like abusing his new wife, which is, or newest wife, current wife, whatever, number 3 now. Sorry, I didn't mean that to sound as judgmental as it was. I just can't keep track of all of this anymore. There were rumors that he was abusing his wife, but she came out and said that that's not true, which I honestly do believe as well. But those rumors came out after the band members had already announced they were quitting. So there were no rumors. Like, that's why everybody was so shocked about this situation, is because band members started dropping, and not just band members, their tour manager publicly announced he quit too. Everybody was blindsided by the fact that they were quitting. There were no rumors or anything out there. People weren't even talking about As I Lay Dying, even with a new album coming out. Tim continues by saying, I fully support each of the guys' decisions to leave and believe at this time it is best for everyone. With that being said, my door will always remain open to discussing anything directly, as I believe closing communication led to many assumptions and problems of its own. So by the way he words this, even though they were in a band together, it sounds like they weren't really talking to each other at all, if that we can believe that that's accurate. He continues by saying, now regarding what's next, As I Lay Dying was founded on persistence and determination. For anyone who is familiar with the foundational years from 2000 to 2004, you know that more than 20 people, whom I'm incredibly grateful for, have come and gone to help bring to life this vision I've had in my head since I was 19 years old. I look forward to building a new team. Told you that was going to happen. And he won't have an issue doing it. And creating an atmosphere that is supportive, positive, and fosters a creative environment. Well, like, that's the whole thing, isn't it? Is like the other band members were saying they were leaving because they felt that their like physical and mental health was in jeopardy and their morals were being tested. So like, clearly wasn't a supportive and positive environment. Otherwise they wouldn't have left. Through Storms Ahead will still be released on November 15th. I am proud of what we created and look forward to sharing it all with you. Yeah, 4 people that created it aren't even in the band anymore. Like, this is insane. This is like, this whole statement to me, first of all, I will absolutely address, this is not a PR statement. This is 100% not a PR statement. I don't think anybody from Napalm Records PR team, or if As I Lay Dying has their own individual PR team, I don't think anybody wrote this or looked over this, because there are some like grammatical errors and other weird things in there that made it seem like nobody even proofread this before it was posted. And it's just, the whole thing seems like massive gaslighting. He hasn't addressed any of the things that the other band members have said about their mental and physical health or their morals or anything like that. And I will admit, you know, there were some other people out there in the comments that were saying, it's weird that they're bringing morals into this when they knowingly joined this band after what had already happened with Tim in the first place. And yeah, I agree with you on that. Like, they knew. It's like, dude, you know who you're joining a band with. It should come to no surprise. But if we remove that from the situation, like, you got to think something else is going on that's like testing their moral fortitude and also putting their physical and mental health in jeopardy. Now, I have received some messages from people that are in the industry that actually told me that they heard a bunch of stuff about what's going on that could be putting the mental and physical health of the other band members in jeopardy. But this is all clearly speculation. None of these people are involved with As I Lay Dying, so I will not be repeating any of that stuff because I don't want to start rumors and I don't want to throw accusations and speculation out there. The things that were told to me seemed kind of wild as they were anyways, so there's a lot of people speculating on what it could be. And at this point, we don't know because none of the band members have said anything, the ex-band members that quit. They've each said, again, morals, physical health, mental health, stuff like that, but they have not been specific. Tim also was not specific at all. And also didn't even really address any of the band members or take accountability for anything. I mean, I think we can clearly see that the main issue with the band members leaving was like Tim. Now, according to what he said, the other band members left because Phil left. So now I'm like, okay, if Phil didn't leave, would they still be there? Let's just take that statement at face value too. They left because Phil left. Well, that means they don't care about you or want to work with you. They just wanted to work with Phil. Yeah, this whole thing, like, he basically blamed the band members on Phil leaving, as Mr. MX in chat just said. Yeah. Basically blamed all the band members quitting because he wasn't seeing eye to eye with Phil anymore and Phil decided to leave, even though he said the band members quit because of rumors that were floating around, which I will 100% call bullshit because no rumors came out until after those band members were quitting. And let's be honest here, man. These bands and these crew members too, they all know each other very well. Even if communication wasn't great with Tim, they were just in the studio recording an album together. They've done tours together. Phil has been in the band with Tim since 2003. The other band members have been there for a couple of years. So all of these guys know what's going on with each other. For me, working with a large crew in a band, if I heard a rumor about something going on with a crew member or a band member that I worked for, first of all, I know them well enough to know whether that rumor could possibly be true or not. And also, I would go talk to them. Like, nobody in their right mind is just going to hear a little rumor about something and throw away all of the work that they've put into this band just because they heard a rumor online about something. That's not happening. I don't believe at all that these guys rushed their I'm leaving the band because of rumors that were coming out. I don't believe that, because at the end of the day, if they just figure out what's going on, they could find out that maybe those rumors weren't true. So I don't believe that at all. This whole statement to me is a giant gaslighting, narcissistic announcement, basically. Here's what this statement does, in my opinion. It doesn't do anything for the fans that were on the fence about what's going on, the people that wanted answers, the people that maybe gave this band a second chance, gave Tim a second chance, and they want to know what's going on. This statement was not made for those kind of people. This statement was made for the Tim Lambesis supporters that will be there no matter what happens. When he went to this statement is for the people that when he went to jail, people never once questioned the band or anything and just said, you know, oh, he did his time, whatever. As I Lay Dying is the best metalcore band ever. That statement is for those people. As Polka Metal and Chat just said, this statement is for the echo chamber. That's exactly what this is for. Andrew Techie just said, I think he's going to really struggle to find new band members. I 100% disagree with that, actually, because as we've seen with other bands in the past, there will always be people out there that think that a situation like this could be their in the industry. Somebody younger that's a guitar player that wants to tour and wants to put a band on their resume and get experience. Tim Lambesis will have no problem finding any new members for this band because there will always be people out there that will work for cheap, that will take a bunch of shit thrown at them because they want to get their foot into the industry. The same thing happens with roadies. All of us, when we were young, got paid way less than we should have been paid, took a bunch of shit from a bunch of people because we wanted to get our in the industry, and then we, you know, pay our dues as it said, and then we, you know, build a name for ourselves. And, you know, I've been touring for 18 years. In the first 4 to 5 years of that, I was just getting shit on and underpaid constantly. That will happen with new members with this band, guaranteed. I mean, like I've brought them up multiple times, but it's like your Puddle Muds, your Traps, revolving door of band members. Even somebody brought up Cradle of Filth. Now, I don't know. I don't mean to suggest that like Danny has done anything. It's just another band that has a revolving door of members. Like there will always be people out there that want to join these bands to get their exposure and experience. Shoeless just said Tank As I Lay Dying needs a bass player. No fucking thank you. You couldn't, dude. I don't think you could pay me enough. If Tim Lambesis called me right now and said, I will pay you $150,000 a year to come play bass for As I Lay Dying, I don't think I would do it. And just to clarify, I do not make $150,000 a year right now. So I couldn't do it. I couldn't put myself in that situation. Let's go to some of the comments on here right away. First comment, Tim Lambesis is As I Lay Dying. The true ones will support you, bro. Yeah, and there's tons and tons and tons of replies on that one. The next comment that has a good amount of likes says, we support you, Tim. As for the folks commenting for him to give it all up, just remember that Breaking Benjamin is another band that currently is still huge in the scene and only the lead singer survived. You got this, man. Can't wait for the new albums. Yeah, well, the difference in this situation is that Ben from Breaking Benjamin didn't try to have his ex-wife murdered. He just happens to be the only band member there. So the situation is vastly different. Ben Burnley, I think is his last name. He does not have the controversial past that Tim Lambesis has. Ben Burnley does not have the reputation of being a shitty person. I've toured with Ben before, like Breaking Benjamin back in the day, not working for them, but for another band on tour with them. And I've encountered him many times and he was very nice. Well, I guess in the interest of fairness, the one time I met Tim Lambesis, he was nice too, but you guys know the point I'm trying to make. Oh, Tim responded to this one. Thank you. People are usually surprised when they good rock or metal bands with only one original member. Fucking what? Lots of my favorite bands in those lists. Well, yeah, there's lots of bands that only have an original member or two, but again, some of those bands don't have the controversial past that As I Lay Dying does. So, fuck, there's a fucking Chinook going right over my house right now. Not kidding. Like, military base nearby. My whole house is shaking. I don't know if my camera shook. There's already people in here saying, I can be the new guitarist. Fine, I'll play bass for As I Lay Dying. Another person said I would genuinely dedicate my life to being the bassist for As I Lay Dying and work even harder to professionally improve my voice to fill the clean parts. This comment right here is something I will never understand. I've seen so many people make this comment. This person says, I don't condone Tim Lambesis' past, but I can understand it. I went through a horrible divorce with a woman that tried to do everything in her power to keep me from seeing my son, and at the same time tried everything, even get my wages garnished. I will tell you right now, dude, no normal person, regardless of what they are going through, is trying to get somebody else killed. That is not fucking normal, dude. My parents went through a brutal divorce when I was a kid. And actually the divorce wasn't brutal, but the custody battle over me was. And at no point in time did either of them try and kill each other. Like, that is not normal, dude. So anytime I see somebody say, oh, as a husband and a father, I can understand, because if my wife tried to do that, I might do the same thing. Well, you're fucking mental, dude, and you need help, because that is not fucking normal. Now, there's more people offering their guitar playing services and stuff like that. So yeah, this is pretty split, and it's also pretty heated in a few of these comment threads. And again, I think that just goes to show you that this statement was specifically made for the diehards that are going to support As I Lay Dying, or more specifically Tim, no matter what happens. Because there are some people that are upset that are like, why didn't you actually tell us anything? And here is the unfortunate part here, is that nobody is ever going to know what actually happened unless some of the ex-band members actually go into detail and say what happened. And if they have a non-disclosure agreement or something like that, they probably never will. Or there's a chance they just don't want to rock the boat in the industry and cause some drama. But like, my whole take on situations like this, especially within the music industry in general, is that if you don't say something, these things are just going to keep happening. And I've given examples in my previous videos of when it happens to roadies and crew members on the road when they get taken advantage of, whether it's with pay or whatever, or they're treated horribly by a band. It's like, if you don't say what happened and you don't call people out for what's going on in this industry, then that pattern of behavior will continue and will just get taken out on other people. Because as we've already established, there are people that are willing to join As I Lay Dying right now. Like, Tim will not have problems continuing this band. Like, this band is not done. But if nobody makes the new people aware of what this behavior is from Tim, it's just going to happen to them. And because they're new and they want their in the industry, maybe they just put up with it. And maybe Tim gets to continue whatever behavior that led to these previous band members quitting, and nothing ever changes. This is just a big lose situation for everybody. Because, like, obviously, with all the band members quitting, it is the common denominator is Tim. Like, I think we can all agree, without making specific accusations, because that's illegal, we can all agree that Tim, in some way or another, is the common denominator issue that made everybody quit the band. But what those things are, we don't know. But I think we're going to wrap this one up, man. I know there's been more and more updates to this, but at this point, I feel like unless something bombshell comes out, like, there's no more reason to talk about this anymore, because we've got the statements from the members that have left. We've got the statements from Tim. Like, it's internal band drama at this point, and I guarantee you he's going to have no problem finding new band members, and As I Lay Dying will continue on. But once again, to everybody that was here live on Twitch, thank you for being here. If you're watching on YouTube later, thank you for watching, and feel free to join us on Twitch when we talk about stuff like this. I'm also on a ton of different social media. @TankTheTech is my handle on just about everything. But until next time, wherever you are in the world, be safe, be kind to each other. I love you all, and I will see you very soon.